Hey everybody, we're about to start our cooking class in about 4 minutes. I figured I'd just get on a little early so that you could see that I'm here and we're actually going to be doing this. If anytime during the class you have any questions, I've got my comment section here and I will hopefully be able to answer some questions if you have them. I'm going to see right now if I can get onto that comment box, and I'll be back in a minute. All right, yeah, I got the comment back. Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're watching. All right. I don't know about you guys, but the weather here is gorgeous today. So it really hurts to be inside, but one thing I love doing is cooking. So it's not all bad. So hopefully we'll give another couple of minutes and we can get started. If you have any comments or any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box. Hey, Julie, how are you? Thanks for joining us today. This is great. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not used to giving presentations in front of myself. All I can see right now is me in the monitor, but usually for most of you who know, I do give presentations locally to organizations on healthy eating and lifestyle habits. So this is something new. I thought it would be fun, a good way for me to share what I know and help support everybody at this time. Hey Nicole, how are you? Good to see you. So excited to have you. So I'm going to give it one more minute and then we'll get started with the actual recipe. If you guys have any questions as I'm going along, I can see your comments and be happy to answer them as best I can, if I can, whether it's related to the recipe or not. So you're getting a little peek at my kitchen. I had to clean it up for you guys today. I will say that I usually do have things all over the place because I'm usually doing lots of things in this room. But I do enjoy experimenting, and one of the things I found during the stay at home is that I had time to go through my pantry and to start looking at the ingredients that I have, because as we know, it's so difficult to go out and do shopping. So I thought it would be fun to share some foods that use some of the things that I found in my pantry and that you quite likely have in your pantry as well. But the thing that I found that I was most craving, as it turned out, were comfort foods. And I know a lot of people, it's really hard when you're sitting around the house because you're always looking in that refrigerator waiting to snack on something. And it's hard to distract yourself when you can't leave the place that you're in. Hey Camille, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Hey Jack, thanks for joining us. This is great. So I was just saying that the foods that I was looking at were comfort foods. And I thought, for those of you who know me, I don't eat processed foods. I try to avoid processed foods as much as possible. Every now and then I might use a processed food in a recipe, but for the most part I try to eat whole foods, which means a lot of produce. I try to shop for healthier versions of protein when I am getting animal meat, but which means that I've gotten a little creative with some of the traditional comfort foods that we have, that we like to eat. And in fact, if you are a follower of my newsletter, I will have my newsletter coming out, and the newsletter article this week is on comfort foods and also things that we can do to help avoid stress. So you might want to check that out. It is on, the blog is on my website, which is eveyschweig.com, EVEYSCHWEIG.com. I just realized you probably know that because you're on my website. I mean, you're on my Facebook page. But go to my website. There's blogs there. There's a recipe tab there as well if you want to try some new recipes as well. So, hey, Christine, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So, good. So we were talking about comfort food. And one of the things that I came up with was cookie dough. And I thought this would be an easy recipe to do today because it's raw. You don't need to spend time. I don't have to do the magic of TV by bringing out a cooked recipe, which I sometimes have to do when I'm giving my presentations live, as some of you know because you've seen me and seen some of my demos and workshops that I do. I do a lot of workshops on healthy cooking and different ways of preparing foods. Like I do a lot on fermented foods as well because they're so healthy and good for us. So back to what I was saying though, I try to eat foods that are not processed, try to up my vegetables. Any of you who know me know that I'm always talking about the goodness of vegetables and the immune boosting qualities that foods can have. And that's especially important right now with the virus that's going around. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Good to see you. Let's get on to the recipe, right? Now, as you know, I tend to like to cook with healthier ingredients. So a lot of the things that I do, even if it is a comfort food, is to try and tweak it and make it a little bit better for us. That doesn't mean that the foods that we're eating or the recipe that I'm making today has no calories in it. It is a snack, and I try to use my snacks sparingly. So this snack probably lasts you a few times. 4 to 6 servings is what I would say. But it doesn't contain raw eggs, so it's quite healthy to eat. And I will tell you the secret ingredient in a moment. So I'm just going to line some things up here. I'm going to get my recipe ready. By the way, this recipe is in my blog this month that is on my website, which I mentioned before, eveyschweig.com. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box here, or you can email me, eveyschweig@me.com. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the beauty of this is that there's only 5 ingredients. So it's real quick and easy to do. As I said, I use my food processor. I have a Breville here, which I really love. What I like about this food processor is that I can do a little batch, there's just a little tin here, or a large batch of something. I'm going to use the little batch here today. To start off, I'll tell you what the 5 ingredients are. 1 can of garbanzo beans. Hopefully, maybe you have a can in your pantry already. I actually like this. This is from Mariano's, which is a regular grocery store near us. It's organic. So garbanzo beans, deglet dates. All right, here's a packet of the dates that I use. All right, it might be turned around, but I actually got this from Costco. It is organic, so I do like it organic, non-GMO. All righty. Hey, Christine, I can't see you, but I can see what you're writing. All right. Okay, so we have our garbanzo beans, our dates. We have almond butter, or this again is an organic almond butter. You can use any nut butter of choice. You can use a sunflower butter. You can use peanut butter. I don't tend to use peanut butter. Peanuts I stay away from because of the molds that tend to grow on the peanuts. A lot of people have allergies on them. So almond butter is my go-to. You can use cashew butter. Whatever your preference is, you can use that in this. A little bit of salt. So I have a little salt cellar here with my salt. and some vanilla extract. And that's it. So let's get started, all right? So first things first, you want to open up your can of beans. Now I pre-opened this, but I just wanted to show you the opener that I like to use. It actually sits on top of the can like this instead of sideways, the way you might have seen some. Some of you might be familiar with this, but as you open it, it twists around. It literally will lift the can off. There's no rough edges. So if you have kids around the house that are helping you cook, this is a great tool to get. I think this is OXO brand. Yeah, OXO brand. And I just love using it. A little tricky to use at first because it's a little bit different, but as you can see, I emptied my can. What I did was I just emptied the can of the garbanzo beans and then I rinsed them with water really well and drained them. I'm gonna put them into my small container of my food processor. Next thing I'm gonna do is, and I should have told you this beforehand, I'm going to add the dates, but what I did was I kind of roughly chopped them up, if you can see here. Chopped them up a little bit and add a little bit of water and they've been soaking for about 20 minutes. The reason I do that is because sometimes the dates can be really hard and this helps soften them a little bit so it mixes easier. Also, I'm gonna pour in the liquid that comes with it. I don't know that we can see it here, but it is a way to spread around that sweetness. So I'm gonna actually add the soaking water in with the beans and the dates. All right. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give these a little pulse to combine them a little bit. So I'm gonna make a little bit of noise here. All right, Camille, I see you have your OXO can opener, right? Do you like it? I like it too. The quantity of dates, good question. Half a cup of dates, which is about 10 of the deglet dates. All right, deglet dates, I'm gonna show you what they look like. Deglet dates are like this. They're much firmer. If you've ever seen the medjool dates are bigger. They're about twice as big. But I like these because they're. You could use either one, but the deglets, about 10 make up a half cup. So I used about 10 for this recipe. But if you use the medjool dates, I would say you probably only need about 5 because they're a lot bigger and they're very sweet too. So again, too, if you don't have dates, because it might not be something that's in your pantry, good point. You can add maple syrup. We're very lucky. My daughter has a friend who lives next to someone who makes maple syrup. So we've got some local maple syrup, which is fabulous. Or you could add honey. I would say start with a tablespoon of either one of those if you don't have the deglet dates and see whether you need it sweeter or not. The beauty of this recipe is because it's raw, you can add in things afterwards, after you taste it. So you could add in more sugar if you find that it's not to your liking. All right, so hey Jessica, how are you? Good to see you. All right, someone was asking me Devon was asking me, when do you add the chocolate chips? I'll get to that, because you don't necessarily need them. But let's get on. So I've got my garbanzo beans in here, and I've got my dates, and I'm just gonna pulse them to give them a good mix. I like to go in and kind of push it down. I'm gonna tip this so see whether you can see how we're doing in there. All right, it doesn't need to be all mixed in. I'm gonna give it one more pulse. All right, but basically this is how we get the basis of our dough. So now we just want to add in some flavorings. So we had that 1 can of garbanzo beans, the half a cup of the deglet dates, plus about, I would say about 1/4 cup of water was what I put it in to soak with. I'm going to take my almond butter and I'm going to add in about 1/3 of a cup of almond butter. All right, I kind of like the chunky. If you don't like chunky, smooth is fine too. All right, I'm gonna add that in. Oh, by the way, I am not a neat cook, so don't worry if you're not. All right, so I've got about 1/3 of a cup there. I'm going to move this can out of the way so we can see what's going on here. All right, so you can see here, I've got about 1/3 of the cup of my almond butter. I'm just going to add that in. I love to use a silicone spatula because it really can get in and scrape away every last bit because I hate to waste anything. All right, so I've got my, whoops, sorry about that, guys. See, I am messy. Got my almond butter in there. All right, I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I've got some Himalayan salt here, which is the pink salt. I like to use the Himalayan because it adds some minerals to it. Not many minerals each time, but you know, if you add a pinch here, a pinch there, you're just getting that additional minerals that are so good for us. So I added the salt in. I'm going to add in a teaspoonful of vanilla. So I've got some vanilla here. And I'm just going to add in my teaspoon. Now the good thing about this recipe too is, if you like lots of vanilla, you can add more vanilla. If you don't like that much vanilla, add less. Again, same with the sweetener, you know, to your liking. I used to like things a lot sweeter than I do now because I've gotten away, my taste buds have become accustomed to eating less sugar, which comes from getting away from those processed foods, because processed foods tend to have so much sugar and salt added to them. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pulse this all together. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna take my spatula. All right. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. Now, if it's still too thick, now if you use, say, a honey or a maple syrup, you may find that you don't need to add more liquid to it. I'm just gonna give this another pulse. You may wanna add a little bit of liquid to it. I might just add, you could add an almond milk if you wanted to. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water in this case. While that's going, I'm just gonna go grab a little bit of water. See how we're doing. Oh, this is looking good. All right, and it smells divine. All right, still a little bit lumpy. Now, I'm just gonna add probably like 1 or 2 teaspoons, about 2 teaspoons of water. Let's see what difference that makes. Oh yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, let me just give it one more because I see a few, you know, a few of the chickpeas in there. All right, so now you have a basic cookie dough. This is always very difficult for, oh, it came right out. How cool is that? What I like to do is, you can scoop it out, eat it with a spoon right now, because it tastes really, really good. Or what you can do is, this might be a little bit thin. You could, if you kept it thicker, you could roll it into a little ball and do it like a power ball or something like that, an energy ball. That's fine too. My family tends to like to just spoon it out into a little dish, because then you don't overeat it. You don't eat too much at one time. I like to take out like 1 or 2 tablespoons at a time and just kind of snack on that. But okay, here's the consistency. Does it look like cookie dough? It sure tastes like it. Oh my gosh, and it smells like it too. Now, you can, someone asked earlier, I think it was Devon, asked about add-ins. So, and Camille, you're asking the same question too. Cinnamon would be a great add-in. If you add in cinnamon, you could add in, for instance, some chopped pecans with it, which would be great. Cinnamon is healthy. It's a good, healthy spice, because as we know, spices actually have health benefits to them as well. So, hey Jim, how are you? All right. But you could go the traditional route and add chocolate chips. I like extra dark, which is healthier for you, as you know. The higher the percentage of chocolate, the higher the antioxidants and the nutrient value of your chocolate. Another thing that you can do is you can go with cacao nibs. Now this one I found, this is Navita, that it's actually cacao sweet nibs. So it's a very natural form of chocolate. They look like nibs, not like chocolate chips, but they taste like very dark chocolate. I probably about like 80% chocolate. Maybe you could see. They're not like chocolate chips. They're actually small, more like cacao nibs, if you've ever bought cacao nibs, but a little bit sweeter so that it's really nice to enjoy. So you could mix that in. If you were mixing in that cinnamon with the pecans, you might want to put some raisins in there and get more like that oatmeal raisin flavor to it. Although this has more of a chocolate chip cookie base tasting to it. With the almonds, it doesn't come through like real strong. Peanut butter would probably come through very strong. Another option you might want to go with is unsweetened coconut flakes. Give it a little bit of chew to it. The options are endless, and it's up to you what you might want to do as far as adding them in. What I like to do is once this is all done and scooped, I will seal it up, put it in the refrigerator. Sometimes I put it in the back of the refrigerator, so I'm not snitching at it and always seeing it every time I open the refrigerator door. But it is a nice, you know what would be really fun to do is to do spoonfuls and freeze them. And then you'd have a nice kind of cold, and because it has so much of the nut butter in it, it probably wouldn't freeze solid. I haven't tried it though, so if you try it, let me know. No, I don't think a vitamin mix, well, you could do a Vitamix with this, but it's just harder to scoop and to mix it up. A Vitamix would do the job, Camille, but it's nice to have a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, I would try the Vitamix and see how that goes for you. I mean, just make sure you have a good scooping, to keep it so you can get the bottom and get it well mixed in. So you could freeze this and save it, portion it out. Sometimes I find that with snacks for me, you could put them into like ice cube trays so that you have a measured amount for each snack. Like I said, 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, that's probably not a bad estimate for this. But what's nice about this is, you're not getting the wheat, so you're not getting the gluten, you're not adding processed sugars, you've got the natural dates that are in there, all really good for you. So if you like this kind of cooking and you want to try some more, by all means, stop by my website, eveyschweig.com. Look under my tabs of either recipes or blogs, because almost every blog I have has a recipe or two associated with it, but the recipe tab as well is an easy way to search and find something if you're looking for something. Again, if you want to reach out to me by email, eveyschweig@me.com. And yes, this recipe is on my website under the blog for this month. So it's called Comfort Foods, okay? So look under that blog for April. And I will be sending out my newsletter. There was a glitch in my mail server, so my newsletter hasn't come out yet, but I also have some other suggestions and some ways to stay safe during this time that I added with that. Christine's asking me whether you can use dried apricots instead of dates. I think you would need to soak them. I'm not sure sweetness-wise whether the apricots would have enough sweetness, but what you could do is chop them up and add them in, much like you would raisins. That way, I would think that they would have a lot of oomph to it. So you could try doing that. The other thing is, if you do use the apricots, just soak them so that they break down and mix very nicely. So to access my blog, Christina asked, you just go to my website, eveyschweig.com, and then on the top you'll see different tabs. One is, to have an appointment with me. Another is events that are coming up. Oh, and by the way, if you want to see what events are coming up once this whole COVID stay at home is done, you can go to my website, or go to my website, sign up for my newsletter that comes every month, and I'll send postings of things that are going on. And that's where you're going to find the blogs, right up on that tab. As you move across, you'll see recipes, and then you'll see blogs. And I post every month a new blog, so that with things that interest me or health tips, and then usually food that's related to that health tip. So speaking of health tips, just to let you know, tonight my colleague Mary Ellen Zung, fellow health coach, and I are putting on our monthly Take 20 minutes on a current health topic. And today we're going, tonight at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be talking about stress reduction for immune health. Something that we thought was really important right now with everybody being so careful and staying out of harm's way. We figured keeping your immune system strong will help you do that. So this would be really something that if you're interested in seeing how your lifestyle affects your health, you could do that. Visit us, join us tonight. It's a Zoom program. The link is on our Facebook page, our joint Facebook page. I know I'm confusing you with all of these places, but we have, it's called Tips for a Healthy Life with Evey and Mary Ellen. So look for that. And the link for Zoom for 7 p.m. Central tonight will be there. It's just 20 minutes. Come join us. It's great. We'll be talking, and then if there's time afterwards, we'll stay on to see if anybody has any questions for us. I think I've covered everything. I hope you try the raw cookie dough. Let me know if you do. Just send me a message. Send me a message through Facebook. Through my emails. I would love to hear from you, okay? Just going through to make sure. So tonight for the Take 20, and then we have our May Take 20 lined up for May 5th as well. So if you missed tonight, there's one coming up May 5th, 7 p.m. Central. Hope everybody stays healthy during this time. We are thinking of everyone, and I'm sending healthy, healing energy out your way. Hopefully you'll feel it through your food, and hopefully you're able to be with loved ones that are supporting you at this time. I will talk with you soon. And one more thing. If you want to have another cooking lesson, let me know on the Facebook page, and maybe an idea of a food that you might like to see. As I said, I'll try to make a healthy version of it. So even if it's a, comfort food that you grew up with, we'll tweak it a little bit. All right? Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.